Hello, today I'm going to talk about how you can get some really dangerous information over the internet, including from people that look like they should know what they're talking about because they got plenty of subscribers and plenty of views on their video. Therefore, they must be an expert, right? Wrong, not necessarily so. And if you just follow their advice, come the day we hope never comes, we have a nuclear war, and you end up dying because you followed their advice. Now, case in point, this one prepper channel guy, he's got close to 5,000 subscribers. This video in question has over 84,000 views. So think about 84,000 people viewed something that actually is can get them killed because it only gives part of the picture and it gives some very bad advice. Now, I always go to actual real sources for the advice I give on my channel. And of course, the primary source for nuclear survival is this book here. This one here, the Nuclear War Survival Skills Handbook. It was commissioned by the Oak Ridge Laboratories, which is one of America's main nuclear research facilities, done by a nuclear engineer. You can get a free version, the 87 version PDF download online. I'll give the link in there. Or you can actually buy the updated version by here over here on Amazon. And this gives you, whereas the 87 gives you all the basic information you need. There's some value add in the newer version. So if you want to spend the money on that, you can. But this is authoritative source. So is the effect of nuclear weapons. That's another one of my sources, the American version by the U.S. Department of Defense. And I also have the Canadian EMO abridged version too on the same subject too. So I look at these sources and other related sources, scientific sources, stuff from the Bulletin of the Atomic Scientists, any where you're getting credible information is well researched and whatnot. So that's what we have to look at. So this is what I am going to use to critique this guy's video. So he's saying, okay, I'm going to seal up all my windows and doors with plastic, and that'll keep the radioactive fallout out, and then I can stay there for a while and then come out after a couple of weeks or maybe even a week, because he knows enough about the 710 rule and knows about how fallout declines, and that's all I need to do is have my plastic. But he neglects one huge thing. Well, two huge things, but the main huge thing he forgets the fact that gamma radiation will go through a wood frame house, because that's by the looks of what he was in, or even just a simple brick structure, like a proverbial high-powered round going through drywall. It'll go right through. The alpha and the beta is no big deal. Heck, alpha radiation is stopped by a sheet of paper, beta by your skin. Unless you inhale them or ingest them, you're not going to be in trouble. It's gamma is a big thing. You need protection. You need dense material to protect you against that. But he doesn't talk about that. He implies that all I need to do is seal myself in plastic and I'll be okay. Well, like I said, first of all, you have ventilation issues, especially in the summer. You're going to be in especially if there's a heat wave, you're in the southern states, you're going to be in trouble very fast. In the winter, you can also be in trouble too. Again, especially if you're trying to heat yourself up with a stove or cook some food, you're going to have carbon monoxide issues, you're going to have carbon dioxide issues all around. You're going to have heat, no ventilation, the air gets stale and stagnant and eventually can be driven out. In fact, there were some studies done on that effect about, balancing the risk of poor ventilation, and these studies are in here. You can go from page 54 to 58. It'll talk about these things. The lack of ventilation is a greater risk to health of the shelter inhabitants than the minor risk of inhaling radioactive particles. But it's very minor in that sense, because let's look at how radioactive particles work. Okay, the worst, the most dangerous stuff is going to be coming down in the first hour or so, and these are the big particles. These are too big. This is grit, man. This will not get through my windows, or the door, or even under the door. This is big grit stuff. So that the main and the danger from that is the gamma radiation penetrating through your walls, into your basement, through your roof, and giving you a lethal dose of radiation, or at the very least a dose that's so great that you're going to be as sick as a dog for weeks on end. And of course, your risk of cancer is going to shoot up right through the roof, if you're looking farther down the line. And you don't have kids either in that aspect. So that is going to be the thing that you need to protect against, the gamma radiation. Now you've actually also destroyed your ventilation, and you have all these risks from that. It also doesn't take into account that, okay, what if I'm close enough to a potential target that I'll get even a couple, 1 or 2 pounds per square inch of pressure. Maybe say a couple pounds per square inch of pressure. That's fairly fair ways out. That'll blow in your windows. And with that, your plastic too, because it'll just shred your plastic, and there it is. Even worse, if you get around 5 pounds per square inch, where I live, where I am relative to the most likely target, that's what I get. It'll blow my house down, and that's all there is to it. Now I'm, basically buried under my wreckage of my house, and fallout's all coming around me. My plastic didn't do me any good either. I need proper shelter. So there's what you have to look at. You have to look at your situation. Where am I relative to the targets? How much protection do I need? Like, I'm far away enough that I don't have to worry about my windows being blown in or my house being blown away. Then I can hunker down in my basement. If I am, downwind of what would likely be a ground burst target, like military target and whatnot, or an large airport, then I need very significant fallout protection. Even the sandbag lean-to down in the basement may not quite be enough. I would need something, a proper reinforced concrete type thing, or a bunker in my backyard, or hunker down in a large building, high-rise building sub-basement, or a lower level of a parkade or subway system in order to get sufficient shielding to protect me from the radiation. But if I am farther away, kind of more in the yellow zone for fallout, right? If you look at fallout maps, especially if you use nuke map, you'll see a red, orange, dark yellow, and then lighter yellow zones, and that tells you how strong the radiation is. So if I'm in the yellow zone, I can kind of should be able to fortify my basement in the way by just something expedient, even if it's just throwing a couple of doors or sheet of plywood against the wall to create a lean-to, and putting some pillowcases full of sand and dirt, or boxes full of sand and dirt to create some bulk in there to get some shielding. But I do need some shielding. A normal wood frame house, even where you're only going to get lightly dusted, you still could get sick. So you don't want to get sick. So you need to focus on protection factor. That is huge. But circling back to advice, any advice you hear, go to sources. Go to sources. Take the trouble of doing your own research to see if this person really knows what they're talking about, or they're just shoveling it fast and thick, or just trying to pretend they know something. They don't even know what they don't even know, because that's also an issue, or treating it as something else they're aware of. Like, sealing yourself in plastic is good if there's a chemical spill near me, just for a few hours to make sure nothing noxious gets into the house. But it's not going to cut the mustard as far as protecting myself from nuclear fallout. So again, as I say, I always do my research. I always go to credible source material before I say anything. As best one can know in all these situations, sometimes one has to make a conjecture, like, is where we're going to have nuclear winter or we're going to have nuclear fall. I don't know, but I have my own opinions, which I'll talk about in a later video. In any case, if you like this video, do like it. Please subscribe. Please view my nuclear survival short video playlist and long video playlist. And I'll give links to credible documentation, the free versions of these things, so you can have your own resources to make good decisions. And do comment below. Bye for now.